Hey guys, welcome to my first ever video on YouTube. And today this video is going to be about how to get better aim in Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. For your information, I'm K Rhodes. I've played many tournaments. I've 1v1 many players. For example, Glybo was the #1 player in the world at some point, I'm pretty sure. Drainy, #1 player in the world. I beat both of them. Beat Glybo 7-4. I beat Drainy 7-6. And yeah, this one's important, but it's also kind of, basic. Turn off vibration and find your preferred sense. I promise you, when you find the sense you have, you're gonna be so much better. You're gonna be 10 times better. For me, this took me a couple months to find. This took me forever to find a good sense. Some people it takes a few days. It doesn't take too long, but once you find it, you'll be excellent at the game. All right, for this third tip, if you have a PS5 or a new gen Xbox, any new gen console, me personally, I run VSync on and always have prioritized performance on. Sometimes VSync doesn't work for some monitors, and for some monitors it does work. But my monitor, it's a 244 hertz monitor, so VSync is good. If your monitor is anything above 120 FPS, turn VSync on. For this fourth tip, you want to have vibration off. This can really mess with your aim. You also want to have trigger effect off. You want to have gadget deployment on, drone deployment on, leading behavior alternate. For controller rotation, you want to turn that to classic. Look, let me show you the difference. So if I switch this to updated, you can see it gradually increases the speed of my sensitivity. But if I go back and I switch it to classic, it doesn't gradually do it. It instantly, my camera instantly turns. It doesn't have to gradually speed up. This is not that important. For your opacity color, it just really depends. You can switch it to whatever color you want, but me personally, I use light blue and always have the optics opacity at 47. This just lets you see things a lot better, things that you can't see. Like sometimes your crosshair, sometimes your reticle will blend in with the environment. So light blue is one of those colors where most maps don't have light blue, and 47 is just the perfect opacity to have. For this next tip, you want to have screen shake intensity off. And for stun effects, put it on dark glare. Dark glare, it doesn't hurt your eyes as much. I personally feel, I don't know if this is a fact, but I feel like it's quicker than when you get flashed from white glare. Now the biggest thing is confidence. Confidence when it comes to anything like swinging, real life, anything. This is the biggest thing in Siege. If you have confidence, I promise you, you will win 99% of your gunfights in Siege. It's about recoil. Recoil is pretty easy. It's not that hard. People try to overcomplicate it sometimes. So me personally, I use a laser on every attack weapon I have because you can aim in faster and it's just a lot better. And on some attack guns, I use flash hider or I use compensator. It depends on what gun it is. Personally, for the F2, I use the flash hider because the F2 doesn't have much horizontal recoil. Personally, what I do is when I want to learn how to control a gun, I shoot from bottom to top and look at the recoil pattern. Now, when I look at the recoil pattern, just control it. Honestly, you just gotta hold down your sticks. It's not that hard at all. Not that hard at all. Now for this tip is crosshair placement. Crosshair placement is the most important thing in the game. I promise you. Whenever sometimes my ranked teammates, they'll always be aiming down at the crosshair. They'll be aiming down at the floor, shooting at their feet, shooting at people's kneecaps. No, you always want to aim at head level. This is a one-shot headshot game. Aiming at head level is one of the most important things you can do. You always aim head level unless you know they are 1 HP or 1 shot. So look, this guy's 1 HP. It doesn't matter, he's dead. But if I'm about to swing somebody and they're full HP, bad, okay, that was bad. But, you know, it happens. It happens. And you know, this is really, as you get used to it, this is the easiest thing in the game. It honestly did not take me that long. Trying to perfect my sense took me longer than trying to aim head level. You just gotta do it every day, go into the firing range, look at these dummies, see where their head is at, and then just perform that in a real game. Now this next tip is tracing. Tracing is pretty easy to get used to on console. It's not that hard. Unlike PC. PC is easy to trace. But yeah, if you just do this every day in the firing range, it's pretty easy. Okay, this one's another setting tip. But I promise you, unless you can play claw, never play on default. Default is the worst. Me personally, when I tell you, I always use my bumpers to lean and my L3 to crouch. It didn't take me too long to get used to, because I used to play other games and I used L3 to crouch and stuff. But honestly, once you get used to it, you'll love it. It's literally the best thing in the game. Right. This one is super important too. I see a bunch of my friends do this. Whenever they get into a gunfight, they start leaning like this. Now, when you lean like that, it messes up your aim heavily. Whenever you get into a gunfight, you always want to stay kind of stationary. Or not stationary, but like, you want to be moving, but not moving too much like this, where you kind of freak out and start leaning. Whenever you get into a gunfight, if you're about to swing somebody, you can crouch, you can swing out like this. It doesn't matter. Just don't lean spam whenever you get into a gunfight. That will always mess you up all the time. Alright, for this final tip, anytime you have the chance to put on any ACOG, the magnified A, the magnified B, the magnified C, I personally prefer the magnified B or magnified A, depends on what weapon it is, always equip it, especially on defense. So, for example, let's see, who has an ACOG? Who is it? Goyo. Always use an ACOG on Goyo, never use a one times. You will, this is so good, this is so good. Especially Goyo's gun, the Vector. The Vector is such a good gun and will destroy your enemies if you just have good aim. Alright, this is another one. On defense, you know, sometimes you're not going to be using operators that have ACOGs, which is most ops. Never, and when I tell you, never ever use these scopes down here. These scopes are so bad. Maybe this one, but this one is ass. This one's horsecock. This one's alright, but these three are the main one-time scopes that you are going to be wanting to use anytime in a ranked game, 1v1. It doesn't matter. These three are the best scopes in one-time scopes in the game. For this last and final tip, you want to go into endless drill and pick the gun you are struggling to control. So me personally, I'm not that good with the SMG-12, and I'll be honest, I'm okay. I'm decent with the SMG-12. Sometimes I can control it, sometimes I can't. And always put toggle guidance on unless you want to be different, and just turn that off and try to find the dummies. But just try to work on your aim, focus on your aim. You can also try to learn where like enemies sit. This is also for you, like, learn where people sit. Oh my god, I hate when they shoot at me. Yeah, like, see, like right there, that was a bad moment. But sometimes I'll have my moments and I'll have good aim from that far. It just really depends.